everybody. As Katie said, my name is Pono. My pronouns are Z, they. Feel free to ask me how to conjugate Z. It's okay to not know because I did make it up. So there's no way that Google could tell you that. Just first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone here who is listening to this and has your eyeballs on my work. It's really special to be a guest here in your community and to hear that you're all regulars of the space and that you get to watch the different artists come through here and share their creativity with you. So I feel really honored to be here. And I want to say also thank you to my Indigenous relatives here. Thank you for hosting me as a guest on your land and on your and your ancestors' home as well. And thank you for letting me do kind of a really fancy show and tell. When friends come over to my house, I kind of just shove art in their face and I'm like, look at what I made today. Like, you want to see this? You want to see this? And it's usually overwhelming. It's usually unsolicited. And so it's really fun to have a solicited opportunity to talk about my work and to sit down and kind of hear the conversations that happen around my work. And I don't want to give you too much explanation, but I can give you a little bit because there's a lot here. It's all very confusing. A lot of it's illegible. A lot of it doesn't look like anything that you would see in the real world. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of background. So I kind of think of my practice as kind of made up by kind of a community of alter egos. And the one that I'm kind of thinking about and developing right now is this capital T traveler figure who, because I grew up with a lot of sci-fi. And so I always have to understand my world and my emotions and my family's story and my grief through some sort of cool tie-in with like time travel or parallel universes or aliens or something that allows me to break the rules of reality as I know it, because if those rules are broken, that means I can talk to my ancestors, I can talk to friends and family that have passed a bit too soon, which, my life, I have experienced that a lot. And so this is a moment to try to turn that grief into an opportunity for creating and making and understanding grief not only as a place of absence, which I'm sure we can all relate to in some way because grief is a universal condition of being human, and turning that grief into new memories and new knowledge and new joy, despite not really having memories rooted in reality that I can refer to understand myself. I kind of have to imagine. And so this traveler figure, I imagine them kind of being able to travel throughout the universe, maybe many universes, maybe many worlds, many dimensions, and I picture them kind of on this eons-long journey of trying to find home and trying to find bits and pieces of their ancestors' stories. And so this story came about for me trying to reconcile with the fact that there's a lot of ancestral knowledge that I will never be able to know. And so I thought, okay, but I love sci-fi, and that's not as fun to think about. So what if I imagined my ancestors go past Earth, and what if I have ancestors in another world, and what if there's ancestors in one world, there's so many worlds out there that maybe there's ancestors scattered across the universe, across time. What would their stories look like? What would sort of an overview of that entire lineage look like? And what would it look like if people in that lineage contributed to this huge creative archive so that we can understand ourselves? And and so that traveler is part of that. The traveler is part of that lineage. And they're coping with grief, they're traveling, they're recording the worlds that they come across, the worlds that they are guests and visitors, or maybe they're experiencing a long homecoming. That's kind of left up to you, that's up to the viewer, that's up to how you understand the symbols and the math that I've written. And I don't want to go too much longer, but I have a really cool story to tell. I showed one of my comics. It's not in here, but it has some of the same kinds of language in it. I showed that to my nephews. They're 3, 7, and 11. And they were like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. What are those symbols there? Because I make up a language. And I go, yeah, that's a really special language where it means something different to each person who reads it. It means whatever you think it means. And somehow, all of their brains, even though I couldn't really wrap my brain around it, they were like, okay, cool, sweet. And I was like, okay, so to Nesta, the 3-year-old, I was like, what does it say? And, he says something about a dinosaur, like eating a garbage can, and there's a helicopter, there's a machine gun, I don't know, there's a lot. And then the middle one goes, I'm looking for my home, where is my home? I'm trying to find it. And he saw that in a creature and a speech bubble with, what looks like actual nonsense. And I wrote it as nonsense, and he says, yeah, this character is looking for their home. And I was like, sweet, I did it with this comic, this one's done. Like, I don't need to do anything else because my 7-year-old nephew just hit the nail on the head with what I'm trying to do with my entire art practice, which was really wild. But yeah, so all of this is about trying to find home, presented in a very strange, kind of chaotic and overwhelming way. And yeah, that is all I will say. I had a lot of other things planned, but I didn't get to them. So maybe we will chat, and I will get to them then. I've already been able to chat with a few of you, and it's already a highlight of my night. So if anyone wants to chat more and ask me questions and ask me things, I might not give you a straight answer, but I will say hi and thank you for coming. So yeah, thank you.